Once again, welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I would like to discuss XRP and how it's currently performing, but I would like to take a broader look at the overall market to see what we could possibly expect during the upcoming days. As well, if you are not following me on Twitter yet, you must follow me on Twitter at @ThoroughCrypto. It will be highly appreciated and you will be supporting the channel by doing so. And if you're wondering how can I get his Twitter, just go down below towards the description and join me on Twitter at this link down below at @ThoroughCrypto. This being said, I would like to head further and let's start with taking a look at the Bitcoin chart compared to USD. I would like to start by placing a Fibonacci retracement from swing low towards swing high from this previous uptrend on the Bitcoin chart, and where I would like to take a look at is actually where we are currently standing at. You can clearly see that if we take a look at this horizontal levels of support and resistance, we are right now trading underneath the 0.382 level at the golden pocket entry on the Fibonacci retracement, and I think this is of utmost importance due to the fact that if we are going to break this level at $43,900, that we're going to see a rise once again in Bitcoin's price action. So therefore, I am very glad if this will occur. I would like to discuss Bitcoin not that much, but what I must say is that we have to take a few things into consideration. Therefore, I would like to enable the MACD. You can clearly see that we have experienced momentum towards the upside during the past hours, and you can clearly see that as well on the price action of the Bitcoin chart. What I think is very important to know is that if we go towards the daily time frame, you can clearly see that we have seen a major momentum towards the downside during the past couple of weeks, and therefore I think it is very important that you take this into consideration, because it is very likely that we are going to expect a major movement towards the upside with major momentum towards the upside getting started. So this is for me of utmost importance, and it is very good to know that it is high likely that we are going to see a crossover on the daily time frame, on the MACD, on the Bitcoin chart, if we continue with this momentum towards the upside. So keep this in mind if you are trading right now in the overall cryptocurrency space. As well, let's head towards the Xrp compared to BTC chart, where I would like to discuss as well something very similar. And that is actually that if we take a look at the Xrp strength compared to Bitcoin, you can clearly see that we are not trading underneath the 0.5 Fibonacci level at this point in time. And what I think is very important is that we are almost heading towards that crossover as well on the MACD, on the daily time frame, on the strength compared to Bitcoin chart. And that is for me something of utmost importance due to the fact that we are going to see afterwards a major spike in its momentum and an increase as well in XRP's price action, if you ask me. And therefore I am very pumped to possibly trade this move, and I would like to keep you up to date about this during this video. What I think is of utmost importance right now is that we can clearly see, if we enable the 200-day moving average, is that we are clearly still above the 200-day moving average in this trend compared to Bitcoin chart. For me, this is of utmost importance due to the fact that we are actually confirming that we are still inside of this uptrend. Even though we have seen a major decline in its price action, we are clearly getting supported at this level, and therefore I think it is very likely that we are going to retest it like we did just right now, and we are going to head towards the upside afterwards. So right now it's a crucial point for XRP due to the fact that if we break below the 200-day moving average, I must say, and I must admit that I'm not that bullish anymore on XRP, but right now I think it is very likely that we are going to expect a major move towards the upside. And how is that move going to look like? That is something I would like to tell you shortly during this video. But before doing so, I would like to enable the RSI on the daily time frame on the XRP compared to Bitcoin chart, because I think that is of utmost importance to confirm this major breakout. You can clearly see that we are not spotting any type of bullish, neither bearish divergences, but what I think is very important is that we clearly see that we actually broke above this downward sloping resistance on the RSI, and that we are perhaps heading towards a trend reversal. And therefore I am very glad if this would occur right now, due to the fact that we would see a major exponential increase if we experience a crossover as well on the MACD. This being said, I would like to head towards the XRP compared to USD chart. And on the XRP compared to USD chart on the daily time frame, I would like to discuss as well the 200-day moving average, the MACD, and the RSI. Clearly on the 200-day moving average, on the daily time frame compared to the US dollar, we are right now trading underneath the 200-day moving average. Therefore, I think it is very important to be able to break out above it, find support on top of it, and see a major spike and increase in XRP's price action, something I think is very likely to occur during the upcoming days. As well, I would like to take a look at the MACD, and you can clearly see that on the MACD we are as well seeing a decline in the major downward momentum that we have experienced during the past couple of weeks, and right now we could perhaps see a crossover that will for sure increase the price action of XRP, and what I think is very likely to occur due to the fact that XRP is looking very good to me right now to actually make this major trade right now where you can expect major profits from. But of course you have to take Bitcoin into consideration right now. So Bitcoin is right now the coin you have to take a look at before you are trading any type of altcoin, due to the fact that Bitcoin has a lot of market dominance, so do not forget that. But what I am saying is that XRP right now is looking very good and the setup is looking quite well. This being said, I would like to take a look as well at the money flow. Clearly you can see on the money flow index that we still have a long way to go before heading towards the overbought area. So a trend reversal with downward momentum of a decrease in XRP's price action is very unlikely to occur if we are going to start seeing the price action move towards the upside. Therefore, I'm not very concerned about this at all, and we are not seeing any type of bearish or bullish divergences on the money flow index. And on the RSI, you can clearly see that the RSI is looking very good to me, but what I must admit is that we are still inside of this downtrend. Therefore, it is very good if we would be able to break out above it and head towards the upside. This being said, I would like to head towards the 4-hourly time frame, where I would like to discuss my trading setup, mostly due to the fact that I think that is of utmost importance. I would like to start by placing actually the 9-day moving average on the chart, due to the fact that this is a moving average that helps me a lot for the prediction of possible scenarios in the markets. And what I would like to show you immediately is actually that we were inside of this downward momentum. You could clearly see that we had multiple touch points at this point in time. You can clearly see that we broke out above this downward sloping resistance. We had multiple touch points. You can see one touch point at the beginning, one in the middle, and one right now before we were able to break out above it. What I think is also very important is that you can clearly see that the 9-day moving average has been serving as a major level of support currently in this minor uptrend. Therefore, I think it is very likely that we are going to see a further increase. For me right now, what you have to take into consideration is that we're actually breaking out above this downward sloping resistance. And what I think is very important is actually that this downward sloping resistance served as a major level of resistance previously, but not just this. What I think is important is that we are going to head towards a retest of this descending support line right now and continue the movement towards the upside afterwards, due to the fact that if we enable the MACD, you can clearly see that we are losing momentum towards the upside. And if we head towards the 3-hourly time frame, you can clearly see on the 3-hourly time frame that we are losing momentum as well. And perhaps if we head towards the 1-hourly time frame, you can clearly see that the crossover already occurred, and therefore I think it is very likely that we are going to experience even more downward momentum right now if we see the 2-hourly crossover occur as well. Clearly you could see that something similar occurred yesterday. We were heading towards the crossover, but it did not occur at that point in time. But right now perhaps we are going to experience downward momentum, and we could see a retest of this ascending support occur during the upcoming hours. This being said, what I would like to discuss is actually that we are right now going to look for the perfect entry on this trade and where we are possibly heading towards. Before taking a look at entry points, I would like to actually talk about the possibilities right now and why I think it is very important that we are going to trade the scenario. So therefore, I would like to place these trend lines. So for sure, a trend line for me is very important. And what I must admit is that right now we are not seeing a very clear or very beautiful pattern getting created. You can clearly see I made this trend line on the upper part shorter due to the fact that I think it is better drawn this way. That is mostly because we are going to see a breakout, I think, rather similar to this instead of what we saw previously with the first anchor point at this point in time. And if I place the trend lines correctly, you can see that we are forming this symmetrical triangle with multiple touch points on the upper descending resistance, but as well with multiple touch points on this ascending support support. Yes, we saw a clear fake out towards the downside, but afterwards we found support on top of it once more, and therefore I think this is still a confirmed trend line. If this wasn't the case, if we did not find support afterwards on top of this ascending support, I wouldn't say this was a confirmed trend line, but right now I think this was just a major fake out and we were able to find support on top of it afterwards. So therefore I still think this is a confirmed trend line and a pattern that you can possibly make major profits of if you trade this correctly. This being said, I would like to take a look at where we could perhaps be heading towards, and I would like to take a look as well at the levels of support and resistance that we are going to see all the way towards new price targets on the Xrp chart. So if we take a look right now on the Xrp chart, we saw this confirmed breakout, and I would like to measure it from the retest. So therefore I would like to place my measurement at this point in time, because we are going to see very likely a retest occur of this 200-day and descending support before being able to see a major spike and increase in this price action. And where will we be heading towards? If we see this major spike occur, we will be heading towards this level at approximately $1.06, and we know that level from previous levels of support and resistance. Once we were heading towards the downside, you could clearly see that we were finding support and resistance for a very long time on top of this Fibonacci level at the 0.382. Right now we are heading towards the lower part, so towards the downside of the 0.382, but still I think this is a major possibility for all the people who are willing to trade this, and therefore I think this is something you do not want to miss out on, and it's a 14% move and for sure very interesting. So for the minor short term, I think personally XRP is looking good, but as I said previously, it is very important to take into consideration Bitcoin. Therefore, I would like to place actually my entry at a point where you wouldn't expect it completely. I would like to place my entry just a little bit underneath at approximately this point in time. And why am I choosing for this point in time? It's due to the fact that if you take a look at this entry point, you can clearly see that my entry is placed on top of previous support and resistance. We got clearly rejected by this at this point in time. We found support on top of it by this candle, as you could clearly see. I would have drawn the line a little bit further, but I did not actually do it. We found support on top of it twice, and as well underneath it before we were able to break out above it. We got rejected by this level, and therefore I think this is a very good entry if you are willing to trade this towards the upside at $0.9266. I think it is very likely that we are going towards that direction before heading even further towards the upside, due to the fact that we are seeing that crossover on the MACD occur very likely, perhaps not on the 4-hourly time frame, but for sure on the 2-hourly time frame. I think that is something that will be inevitable. This being said, I would like to discuss lastly the levels of resistance on the 4-hourly time frame that are still above us, and therefore I would like to place actually the EMA ribbon. You can clearly see that we are right now struggling actually to break out above the EMA ribbon. So for the people who are actually right now still doubting if we are going to be able to break out above it, do not forget, I personally think that we will for sure see an exponential move towards the upside. But if you are right now still thinking perhaps we're going to head even further towards the downward direction, you could enter the trade as well at the 0.5. Once we break out above this level, we will for sure be finding support as well on top of the EMA ribbon, and therefore it is very likely that we are going to see a further increase all the way towards the $1.07. Thank you very much for watching, but before ending this video, I would like to ask you to give me a thumbs up down below if you are liking the content so far, and as well subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed yet. It will be highly appreciated, so thank you very much. And I would like to head lastly towards the daily time frame, where I would like to discuss lastly once again the MACD. And what I would like to actually show you is that the last time we saw a major momentum towards the downside, similar to what we experienced right now. You could clearly see that at this point in time, we experienced a crossover. We saw minor momentum towards the upside that did not affect the price action a lot. We actually saw a further decline. Right now, I don't think that is actually what is going to occur. But if we take a look at this crossover over here, you could clearly see that after this point in time, we saw a major increase, and that increase is similar to what I will be measuring right now at 134% increase. So what I'm trying to say over here is that if you right now place a long position, and it's very likely, if you think risk versus reward, that you will be able to hold on that long position all the way towards new all-time highs, and that will be for sure something you do not want to miss out on. So thank you very much once again for watching the video. Hopefully you like the content so far, and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Yeah, I've been on Uniswap, now I'm out